No! No!
What's up, guys? It's Lord Bolter here with another video, and we got some more news on the Concord front. This really doesn't look promising, and no, they're not talking about the Star Wars Outlaws ad you're seeing right there. Concord PC players are having a hard time finding matches thanks to ridiculously low player counts. 96 is the loneliest number. Not only is it the loneliest number, it's the worst number because it's the inverse of 69, hailed to be one of the best numbers. But this article comes to us from PC Gamer, in which they state there are currently 96 players in Concord. It's off its peak hours, but having 24-hour peak of 276 and an all-time peak of 697 on SteamDB is pretty damning. It's been a tepid first week on PC for sure. There are no public records for player counts on PlayStation, so this is really all we have to go on right now regarding Concord's popularity. PC players have reported that long queue times are very much a problem for those not queuing alongside console players. Just waited 8 minutes for matchmaking and then it timed out, one player says. I love the game and want to play it. Unfortunately, I can't wait 8 minutes plus between games. So I decided to play something else and come back on peak hours. This really doesn't look promising at all. Well, I don't understand why these players that are complaining about this don't just fix the problem themselves, because it seems like it's only the developers that are actually playing this game. I've also had some pretty long wait times on Concord over the last weekend. I got to about 7 minutes before I found a game. This isn't awful, and I've played plenty of other games that can have similarly long queues, but the difference is that I'm not sure Concord is worth the wait. Also, the difference might be that those long queues might come from games like Fortnite, where you have long queues sometimes because the game is so popular that it's hard to find you a match that's open. The games are quite fun, if a little chaotic. That's a nice way of saying that they're a dog shit mess, but they aren't outstanding, which is probably why players are finding the $40 price tag hard to stomach. Yeah, they also feel that way because the vast majority of games in this space are free to play. The only game that's in this space that was highly successful, also it wasn't technically a hero shooter and it was more like a 4-player co-op, was Helldivers 2, which we're going to talk more about Helldivers 2 later on in this video. Criticism over the upfront costs appeared the moment it was announced, and some players still think the answer to its launch woes is shedding the price and going free to play. They need to go free to play. This game won't last the month. They can't wait. Something like this could help bolster numbers, although there wasn't massive interest around the free beta either. Really says something about your game. When people didn't really seem that interested in it when it was free, you still decide to go with the pay-to-play service. Then when you realize it's a massive failure, you decide to go back to the thing that still wouldn't work. Even if the free-to-play route could help the dwindling player numbers, newsflash, it won't. If anything, it would give them a bump similar to like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League had a bump when they decided to put their game on a massive sale. It wasn't that big and it didn't really last that long. Most people just tried to check in for a few dollars to see exactly how shit the game was, which I think is what would happen in this scenario as well. There is still a good chunk of the player base that doesn't want Firewalk Studios to make the shift to free-to-play. Free-to-play is super predatory and lives off kids' parents' credit cards. Concord costs $40 and everything post-launch is free. There won't be battle passes and every additional map and hero is free. Yes, pay the $40 for the children. It's for the children. Here's the problem with that. Yes, it's a very noble idea to try to hide behind, but the problem is customer acquisition when you're already in a busy business space and you have a franchise that has no real IP or anything outside it to attach itself, quickly develops the problem of why should I care about this? And if you want to acquire customers and make them care about this, it's not the best route to put an inherent barrier of an initial price tag when everything else that is trying to acquire those same customers is free to play, especially games like Fortnite that have almost every IP accessible to them that people already have attachments to and care about. The best route would be to go free to play when you have unknown characters and sort of environments like this within your game, and do the battle passes, the markups and all that. And then with the second game that you may come out with, then you can do the actual buy-in up front and not do the battle passes or anything like that. Or even you could do the battle passes if you wanted to make more money off of that second game. Unfortunately, this game is definitely not going to get a second game because it is performing horribly. So horribly that people are struggling to find ways to cope and justify it. This is a post I saw here on X from Derek Strickland. He's an editor over at Tweaktown, which does gaming reviews and news. He states Concord is selling much better on PlayStation Store than Steam. Data reveals Concord is number 511th on Steam bestsellers list, but Firewalk's new shooter sits at 42 on the PS Store top seller list. Helldivers 2 is currently number 33 on the PlayStation Store. So what Derek is trying to argue here is that Concord is doing a lot better on PlayStation. We shouldn't really pay that much attention to the numbers on Steam. Note the fact that it's actually selling quite well on PlayStation Store. I mean, look at Helldivers 2 numbers. They're only 11 spots behind Helldivers 2. Which leads me to my response to him here saying, so your way of saying the game is actually not a failure is by saying it's selling less than a game that came out 7 months ago and has had a 90% player base drop. Interesting choice. The point is here, no matter what these people at Concord tried to do to fix their problem, this game is an unmitigated disaster. It is a failure of titanic proportions and there is no way that they can rectify it. Even if they go free to play, they'll get a small bump, but I highly doubt anybody will be joining up in droves anytime soon. It would be outstanding if this thing cracked 1,000 players on SteamDB. And that's if they go to free to play or have some kind of promotion or anything like that. And even if Helldivers 2 continues to lose players, I highly doubt this game would even scratch it at 12 months of Helldivers 2 being out. But those are just my thoughts on the latest debacle with Concord. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comment section. If you liked this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you listening to all of it. We'll talk to you again